Hello everyone and welcome back to KSI Morning Brief. This is Mashood and joining with me today is Imad to take you through the latest on world markets and news. To begin with, global markets. Markets await Friday's US Labor Department May jobs report, which is expected to show unemployment rising to a post-World War II high of nearly 20% from 14.7% in April. The Nasdaq had marked the fastest entry to a bear market, defined as a decline of at least 20% from a recent peak, on record spanning 16 trading sessions according to Dow Jones market data. Now the Nasdaq is on pace for its second fastest recovery after entering a bear market since March 2009. Zoom Video posted sales of 328.2 million US dollars in its first fiscal year quarter, up 169% from a year earlier, and far ahead of analysts' expectations of 203.5 million US dollars. The Dow was up by 2.05%, the S&P 500 was up by 1.36%, and the Nasdaq was up by 0.78%. European markets have performed strongly so far this week as several countries eased strict lockdown measures. European stocks marched higher Wednesday as optimism over the reopening of major economies outweighed investor fears over widespread protest in the US. Insurance stocks were the best performance, gaining over 6%. The FTSE 100 was up by 2.61%, the DAX was up by 3.88%, and the CAC 40 was up by 3.36%. Looking at Asia, stocks in Asia rose in Thursday morning trade as optimism over the economic recovery from the pandemic continued to keep investors' sentiment afloat. The Nikkei was up by 0.87%, the Hang Seng was up by 1.37%, and the Shanghai Composite was up by 0.07%. Looking at currencies, the euro has almost returned to the dollar value seen at the start of the year. The dollar depreciation over recent days is being fueled by both optimism over the reopening of the Western economies and expectations of further stimulus from central banks. The euro had emerged as a particular beneficiary of investors moving away from the dollar, which is traditionally seen as a safe haven. It comes after the European Commission unveiled plans for a €750 billion fund to help the Eurozone economy mitigate the damage from the pandemic, consisting of €500 billion in grants and €250 billion in loans. Looking at companies in the US, Warner Music Group priced its initial public offering on Wednesday at $25 a share, the higher end of its $23 to $26 price range, and increased the size of the deal to 77 million shares from an original 70 million shares. The company raised $1.925 billion in the deal. The deal is the biggest IPO of the year to date. Next on global news, we have Imad to bring you some latest updates.
Thank you, Mashood. At least 9,300 people have been arrested across the United States amid the continuing protests after the death of George Floyd. With all 50 states protesting justice for his death, riots broke out in major cities. New York City imposed a curfew after 75 years to control the riots. Moving on to Europe, Poland has announced June 28th as a new date for a presidential election that was postponed last month due to the coronavirus pandemic, setting the stage for a short campaign that could weaken the country's nationalist government. In other news, about 397,000 people have lost their jobs in the European Union in April, raising the unemployment rate in the 27-country alliance by 0.2 percentage points after most European Union countries imposed coronavirus containment measures. In other news, in Asia, Cyclone Nisarga, which intensified into a severe cyclonic storm in the Arabian Sea, is making a landfall along India's western coast, forcing a high alert in the financial hub of Mumbai and evacuation of tens of thousands of people. In other news, in China, China has warned the United Kingdom about interfering in Hong Kong's affairs after the UK PM Boris Johnson promised to keep sanctuary for 3 million locals who may flee the city if a controversial security law is passed. Moving on to COVID-19 updates, The total cases globally surpassed over 6.4 million, with daily new cases over 115,000, with recoveries over 3 million and over 382,000 fatalities. Looking at Sri Lanka, the total cases are at 1,735, with daily new cases at 52, recoveries of 836, and 11 fatalities. Looking at the vaccine developments, Baylor College of Medicine and Texas Children's Hospital Center for Vaccine Development have expanded their alliance with Infectious Disease Research Institute to accelerate the development of a COVID-19 vaccine. In other developments of vaccine, India's leading vaccine and biotherapeutics manufacturer Bharat Biotech International Limited is in association with the Indian Council of Medical Research, has shown positive development with lead researchers pinpointing the next month as the most crucial stage. In other worldwide updates, a study by the Netherlands National Institute for Health has concluded that children under the age of 12 play little role in transmitting the new virus. In other worldwide updates, Spanish lawmakers have voted to extend the state of emergency a final time through to June 21st. That's it for today's updates. Join us again at 8:30 tomorrow for more updates. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe. Take care. Goodbye.